Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am here to talk to you today about the 24 books I am hoping to get to in 2024. I am challenging myself this year because normally I subscribe to the Book of the Month box subscription, but towards the end of 2023, I actually counted how many unread books I have from Book of the Month, because I had been a subscriber since, I want to say it was end of 2018, early 2019, I think, and I have something like 60 some odd unread books from Book of the Month. So one of my goals this year is to actually read a ton of books that are on my physical bookshelf. Not all of these are Book of the Month. Some of them are books that I had bought over the years that I have just been sitting on my shelf forever, and I feel like it's finally just time to get down to reading them, because I really want to read some of these. And these are my top 24 picks that I want to prioritize for this year. We're going to start with My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, and also How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I have read one book by Grady Hendrix before. It was one of his novellas. I believe it was part of the Amazon collection of short stories, and I believe his was Ankle Snatcher, which was terrifying. I'll talk about that collection in a different video. So there's those. This one I bought quite a few years ago, and I just still have never gotten to it. This is 3 books in one. It is Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Lestat, and Queen of the Damned by Anne Rice. I love the movie Interview with the Vampire. It's one of my favorite movies. And I do know someone that is currently actually reading Interview with the Vampire for the first time, and she's definitely inspired me to pick this one up as soon as possible, because I need to know. Up next, we have The Haunting of Maddie Clare by Simone St. James, set in 1920s England. Ghost hunter. I need all the spookiness in my life. Next, we have The Whisper Man by Alex North. This one I picked up because of the little blurb. It says, if you leave a door half open, soon you'll hear the whisper spoken. And other than that, I haven't really looked at the synopsis. I've heard good things about it, not too much detail, so I want to go into this one kind of blind and have fun reading it. Next is The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Matlin. First of all, how stunning is this cover? I love the colors. And I thought it was kind of funny when I first saw this one on Goodreads, because it's about a woman that just bought a Victorian house, and it's a house where someone was murdered, and she's renovating it. And I actually started renovations on my house when I first saw this book on the Book of the Month site, so I thought that was great and I had to get it. Next, I have The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I've read only one other of Ruth Ware's books, called The It Girl, and that one, it was okay. From what I've heard about her other books, I don't think it was her best necessarily, because it was a solid read, but it didn't have like more of the thriller aspect that I've heard that she's really good with writing. Okay, next I have The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I haven't heard, well, I've heard a lot of people rave about this book. I don't know a lot about it. This is another one I kind of wanted to go blind into. I did hear it's kind of like, I think I heard that it was kind of like a cozy read, good vibes, that sort of thing. Next, I've heard good things about this one. I'm a little intimidated by the size of it because it is a chunky book. Babel by R.F. Kuang. I think with this one, yeah, it's supposed to be like, what was that called? Dark Academia vibes. I'm all for it. She does this all the time. Next up, I wanted to get to Circe by Madeline Miller. I've picked this up once before, but for some reason, for whatever reason, life happens and I ended up putting it down and never getting back to it, so I'm going to restart it. I am a big fan of mythology stuff, and I actually took a mythology class when I was a senior in high school, and I loved it. I read the Odyssey and the Iliad that year, and mythology has just always been one of my favorites, especially I know not super accurate for the stories that were written and stuff, but when I was a kid I was a big fan of Xena Warrior Princess. That kind of ages me a little bit, but next is Upgrade by Blake Crouch. I said I wanted to get into reading more sci-fi this year, and Blake Crouch is definitely one of the authors I've heard a lot about pertaining to sci-fi. I also have another one of his books around here somewhere, but this is one I really wanted to get to. The one quote blurb in here that caught my eye was, "You are the next step in human evolution." So I think this will be pretty interesting. Next I have An Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed. I wanted to get to this one because it's actually the second book and I already read the first, which is An Elderly Lady Is Up to No Good. These are actually about an 88-year-old woman named Maud, and Maud is not someone I would want to mess with. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. They're really, I initially saw just the covers and wanted them immediately when I was at Barnes & Noble. Okay, up next, this is probably the most anticipated book I have that I want to get to. I've been wanting to get to it for a long time, but I have been so terrified to read this one. But I think this year is finally the year for A Little Life. I've heard it's torturous, but it is worth it because it's just that good. Let's see. Oh, okay. I did include it in this one. I thought I did. Recursion by Blake Crouch. So that's two sci-fis. Silly me. This one is actually the very first book of the month book that I ever picked when I first started the subscription, and I did start it, but again, life, and I put it down, never got back to it. But I really want to get to The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor. From what I do remember of the little bit I got into, ooh, I think, oh, the bookmark is still even in here. How far did I get? I had gotten up to page 43. So we'll see if I can actually complete this one this year. All right, next. So another one of my goals for this year is to work on completing series that I've already started in the years past, and this is one of them. It was in 2022, I read Her Majesty's Royal Coven, loved it. This is one of my top favorite witchy reads, and this year will be The Shadow Cabinet, I'm sorry, by Juno Dawson. So this ended on quite the cliffhanger that I was not expecting. I did not know this was going to be a series. I thought it was going to be a one and done kind of story, but it worked really, really well with the way the cliffhanger ended. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this one. Next is another book that, of course, life got in the way of, and I put this one down and never got back to it. This one, I feel like, also, it's kind of a, it seemed like a hard-hitting read because of the content of it, so I might need to be in, you know, the mood to read this one, but I'm going to try The Astonishing Color of After. Again, with birds. I love birds. Okay, next I have this book. I have seen raves for everywhere, and I have not read anything by this author yet. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So I know it's about Addie who so I don't really know much about this one. This is another one I kind of wanted to go into blind, but I've heard nothing but good things about this. Okay, next I have, where are you going? Where are you going? So next I have What Lies in the Woods. More spooky vibes. I've heard actually mixed reviews on this one, so I'm kind of curious as to where I will land with my opinions on this one. Don't fall. Okay. This one I have also heard mixed reviews on, so I'm definitely curious about this. But I read the synopsis for this one, and I am actually really, I'm hoping I really enjoy it because the synopsis really intrigues me for The Silent Patient. Let me know what you think of this one. And so the last two I have is Darling Girl by Liz, I'm gonna butcher this, Michalski. And also this one I am borrowing from my mother. It is The Adventures of a Notorious Youth, Captain Hook. Now I've always been a big Peter Pan fan. I even have a tattoo on my upper back of the silhouettes of Peter, Mary, John, and Michael as they are flying through the sky on their way to Neverland, and it's got the little star. I've seen most adaptations for Peter Pan and loved most of them. I grew up with, oh my god, what is her name? I want to say her name is Mary Martin in the black and white version that was acted out on a stage for filming. I hope I have her name right. She played Peter Pan. But yeah, so definitely looking forward to diving into these. I did read Peter Pan, the novel, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I enjoyed the older style of writing. I don't always enjoy the older style of writing. Sometimes it's hit or miss for me, but that one I did enjoy, and I'm really looking forward to these. So, those are the 24 books that I am hoping to get to this year over the course of 2024. I would love to know what your reading goals are. If you have any, comment down below, like, subscribe, and I will see you next week in another video. Thanks for watching.